So we're going to look at installing Eclipse. So I'm at the site eclipse.org. That's the home of this free Java IDE, and in the downloads folder. And so this may or may not look the same because over time it does change, but there's probably going to be some install link down inside of here. So I'm going to download this right here. And then it gives me, some mirror, may or not pick the same one from you, so I'm getting from this open source lab place. I'm going to download it. Yours might be different, and so mine's going off and downloading. It looks like it's a quick download in this case, so I won't even have to pause. So it will download the source code, and in this case, it's giving me an executable. Sometimes Eclipse will just be a zip file. You can just drop it in a folder and be up and running, and that can work sometimes. Now, this will be a little interesting, and I'm kind of doing this live to see. I have older versions of Eclipse on here. I don't know what this is going to do. I haven't installed Eclipse in a while here. I've been working off of older versions, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here. So I hit the install, and I'm on multiple screens here, so it's probably going to pop up on my other screen. But yes, so the installer is popping up on my other screen, and it just has, basically a load screen that's showing here, and then now this just popped up. So now you can see this pop up here. So IDE for developers, IDE for EE developers, C, C++ developers, JavaScript and web developers, and PHP developers. So for our purposes, we only need the basic Java developers. Honestly, if you continue on at CTU, you probably will end up needing to switch to NetBeans because that's where you get into the EE stuff. Some of this stuff can work, it can work well, but NetBeans is what's typically used in those classes. So you get an experience in both of these IDEs. So I'm hitting just Java Eclipse for IDE for Java developers basically. And this tells me the folder where do I want to start it at. By default, you can see it's putting it in my user folder underneath Eclipse. Just for variety, you can leave it here. There's nothing wrong. I want to show you, because like on my machine, I have a really great solid state drive on the first one, so I put most of my applications on my second drive, which is my E drive. So I'm going to pick that, and then underneath my apps, I think I probably actually already have an Eclipse. Oops, sorry. I don't have an Eclipse folder there. So I'm going to make a new folder. Darn it. Made a new folder in the wrong spot. There you go. Eclipse, yeah. There you go. And that's my new folder. No, shoot, did it in the wrong place there. C, E, apps. This is why you want to be careful. And then my Eclipse. There you go. All right, so now it's put it in my right folder. It's going to create a start menu entry and a desktop shortcut for me and install it. And I have my accept now obligatory thing right inside of there, which is funny because most courses deemed, since I just click right by them, they don't mean anything, but they are still on most of our applications. And then it's installing. So again, it's fairly quick on my machine. Probably would be quicker if I installed it on my solid state main drive, but it's going well. But just as kind of a gauge, this is for your machine if it's taking too long or too short. I will say Eclipse is a pretty lightweight application. As I said, the older versions you could just zip it up, throw it onto a thumb drive, throw it onto another machine, and be off and working without even doing an install sequence. The install sequence here helps us make sure that Java's installed, the right versions of Java is installed, some other stuff is all set up. It's not absolutely required in every case, but use the installer if it's available to you. It's still inching along here. What I'm going to do is, since it's inching along here, I'm going to pause for a second, so you have to just sit here and watch it install. And then I'll come, okay, there you go. By the time I told you what I was going to do, it's finished it. So it was pretty quick install there, probably under a minute for my machine. Again, my machine's pretty quick, so I won't overestimate what's going on there. But I hit launch, and then on my other screen, I get a fancy, pretty Eclipse neon version, and then it came over here and it popped this up. So then Tux asks for a workspace. The first time you start up, it's going to ask you where do you want to work. Now the cool thing about Eclipse is if you have a project for work that you're doing, if you have a project for school that you're doing, if you have a project for fun that you're doing, each workspace can be set up separately to hide the other projects from each other. NetBeans sort of kind of does that, not quite as well as Eclipse does. Eclipse will actually allow you to create shortcuts to each of those, so you don't have to ask and have this pop up every time, which is where this button in here goes. Down here. So I'll just leave it see users, user workspace. That's fine by me for now. I hit OK. Again, I'm on the other screen. I got this pop up. Was written with an older version of the product and will be updated. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to cancel that because I don't want to screw up my workspace. And then also show you if you have something there. So what I will do is I'll do neon workspace. Neon and then ooh, sorry, my neon workspace. I'm going to put an underscore there just because it'll make it readable. And then that'll right away pick it, and the application is launching again. Again, the pretty screen is coming up, little green bar. Sorry, I can't show that to you. That's on my other screen. But then now Eclipse is loaded up. So that's the installation path for Eclipse. We now know it's installed and ready to go. Later on, we'll talk about using this, but I just wanted a quick video to show you the pretty condensed path towards installing Eclipse.